What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and full disclosure, I'm a little bit under the weather. Been talking a lot lately. I don't know if I have a little bit of a cold. I've got some tea with me. I actually really like this mug. It's from Winslow, Arizona. And so it's from the corner, standing on a corner, Winslow, Arizona. So I know I sound a little bit different. By the way, this video, this audio is accessible and available both on the Blog of the Boys YouTube channel and the Blog of the Boys podcast network. If you're watching on YouTube, everything is normal for you. But if you're listening to the podcast version of the show, you're obviously not seeing the visual component. But we had to get an emergency video, an emergency session up because Thursday night was a very big night for the Dallas Cowboys. It was, of course, NFL honors. Lots of things that were very chalk, very predictable wound up happening. Patrick Mahomes named MVP of the season. That was not a surprise. Justin Jefferson obviously had a big night. It was a night where Micah Parsons did not win Defensive Player of the Year. We kind of knew that going in. It was always going to go to Nick Bosa, at least over the last 2 months or so. But we had a hunch that the Dallas Cowboys would have a presence on the evening when it came to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and it became that and a little bit more. So if we go in chronological order, in case you did not see it, we have material up about this at blogoftheboys.com and all across our social properties as well. But like I said, we wanted to have a conversation here because this is some pretty big time news. The Dallas Cowboys now have 2 new members in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. DeMarcus Ware and Chuck Howley, both announced as members of the class of 2023 that will be enshrined in Canton, Ohio on August 5th. I know that is a long time away, but it is very exciting. We've had DeMarcus Ware on the network many, many, many times. If you are a follower of ours, you know that. We had him on very recently. In fact, we had him on Wednesday. So if you haven't heard or listened to that or watched that interview yet, you can go see us interview now a Pro Football Hall of Famer in DeMarcus Ware. It was DeMarcus's second year of eligibility. I think we all agree that he should have been named a first ballot Hall of Famer a year ago, but whatever, he's in, and that's what matters the most. DeMarcus Ware, literally one of the greatest defensive players, obviously, both sides of the ball, any side of the ball, that has ever lived. He is the all-time sack leader in Dallas Cowboys franchise history. I will say forever until I'm blue in the face that he should have won Defensive Player of the Year in 2008. And had the Cowboys made the playoffs, he probably would have. I've told DeMarcus that, like I said, in all of the interviews that we've had with him, that award ultimately went to James Harrison. But DeMarcus now, first round pick, obviously had a 9-year career with the Cowboys, won Super Bowl 50 with the Denver Broncos. It's unfortunate it could never happen with the Cowboys, but he now has his place where he belongs in Canton, Ohio. Bronze bust, gold jacket. Very cool. Jerry Jones was the person who shared the news with him. We put that tweet in our article, blogoftheboys.com, if you did not see it. DeMarcus is just such an easy person to root for. He's a great story. He's a talented player, and he now is a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Very exciting. We did have a solid hunch, too, that Chuck Howley would go in. It was Chuck Howley's 45th year of eligibility, just for some full context. Didn't have to, only wait 2 long years the way that DeMarcus Ware did for his opportunity to go in. But Chuck Howley, an original member of the Doomsday Defense. Obviously, everybody knows him. Chuck Howley, a member of the Ring of Honor. DeMarcus Ware is not yet. I imagine that will come soon enough. Kind of the first Jerry Jones player DeMarcus Ware is to head into the Hall of Fame. I know that we're talking about Chuck Howley now, but I think that part of the conversation is important. You could kind of argue Larry Allen a little bit, but DeMarcus Ware is one of the very, very first pure, total Jerry Jones era Dallas Cowboys to be a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And that is a seismic sort of thing as we all kind of sit here on the subject of the Ring of Honor and talk about how Jimmy Johnson's not in. So DeMarcus Ware, like Jimmy Johnson, will now be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame before he is in the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor. I imagine it's only a matter of time before we see Ware get in. And then eventually Jason Witten, obviously, and Tony Romo soon after that. We can make the argument in cases for other players. But I want to get back to Chuck Howley. Like I said, original member of the Doomsday Defense. Chuck Howley drafted in the NFL in 1958 by the Chicago Bears. That was a long time ago. Spent his first 2 seasons with the Bears and then wound up with the Dallas Cowboys in 1961. Right as the Cowboys were kind of beginning, the Cowboys kind of figuring out how to be an NFL franchise. And it wasn't until 1966 that everything kind of came together for Chuck Howley. But once it did, he was pretty unstoppable. You may have heard, you may have seen, especially now, that Chuck Howley is the only player in NFL history. It's difficult to come up with things, right? Like, and we hear them a lot now, people. I don't want to say warp statistics, but people say things like, oh, so-and-so is the only person to do this, and I had all these qualifiers. Chuck Howley this Sunday will be Super Bowl 57. In the 56 that have happened, only one time has the MVP of the game gone to a player on the losing side, and that was Chuck Howley in Super Bowl 5 when the Dallas Cowboys lost to the Baltimore Colts. The curse of the navy, road, blue, whatever jerseys was born, that the Cowboys vanquished a few weeks ago on the road against Tampa Bay and Tom Brady, who was a rookie, by the way, in Super Bowl V, obviously. But in all seriousness, it is so cool to see Chuck Howley get in. And I know that we're all bummed that Darren Woodson didn't get in. There's nothing I can say to make myself or any of us feel better. But it is awesome that Howley and that Ware both did get in. I think we should obviously celebrate them, and we should hope that the voters get this right and put Darren Woodson in much sooner rather than later. But unfortunately, he does have to wait another year. A huge congratulations, obviously, go out to DeMarcus Ware and Chuck Howley. This is way long overdue for both of them. I know that Ware was only on his second year of eligibility, but very cool for the Dallas Cowboys of the past and kind of the present. Like I said, I mean, DeMarcus Ware, it feels like it wasn't that long ago, but it kind of was. I mean, it was 9 years ago. It was the offseason of 2014 that the Cowboys said goodbye, and he wound up with the Broncos in Peyton Manning's third year there. So coming up on a decade of DeMarcus Ware-less football for the Dallas Cowboys. And the Cowboys were fortunate to draft DeMarcus Lawrence in that same offseason in 2014. So they have had a DeMarcus manning the edge on their defense every year since 2005. But like I said, huge congratulations to DeMarcus Ware and to Chuck Howley, newest members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The Dallas Cowboys now have 22 members in franchise history in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That is very cool stuff. All right, let me take a sip of my tea. I've never been to Winslow, Arizona. I don't know if any of you have. If you have, please let me know how it is. But so, like I said, we kind of had an idea that this was going to happen. It just kind of made sense that Ware and Howley would end up in the Hall of Fame. Certainly, we kept our fingers crossed for Darren Woodson. This next thing was a little bit out of nowhere. Now, if you are unaware, by now you certainly know the news that Dak Prescott was named the 2022 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year. I'm not going to go any further without congratulating Dak Prescott. I mean, this is big time, and I know we have some younger fans that watch or listen to our content. In case you do not know, this is the most prestigious award that an NFL player can win. And I recognize that winning the Super Bowl and MVP and the Hall of Fame, all these things are important and they matter. And I'm not diminishing the value of those things and those accomplishments and those accolades. But this is the most prestigious award that an NFL player can win. I mean that when I say it. It is obviously the most prestigious off-the-field award that an NFL player can win. It goes to players who exhibit and demonstrate a high level of commitment to service and to their communities. And obviously, Dak Prescott goes way and above in that facet and has from just about day one. Dak's Faith, Fight, Finish Foundation is something he has talked about, again, from just about day one. And we can sit here and we can quibble and we can argue and we can debate about Dak Prescott and his merits as a football player, but this is not the time for that. This is the time to celebrate an incredible face for the Dallas Cowboys, an incredible face of service and of giving and, again, of commitment to excellence. Dak Prescott stands alone as far as the NFL is concerned this year, winning the 2022 version of the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award. And why I said this was kind of surprising, but not really. I mean, if you don't know, I don't want to call them the rules, but just kind of the template for this. Every team has a nominee. So you're talking about, 32 players are technically up for this award on the night of NFL Honors, which is what Thursday night was. And so the Cowboys have a nominee every year. And it had been a decade, actually, since the Cowboys had last had a player win the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award. And so you never kind of know. This isn't, they don't have odds for this, right? They don't have like I said, we talked about the Hall of Fame, and it just kind of made sense when you looked at the players that were eligible. This was something that was, caught us a little bit off guard, and so we didn't know this was coming, didn't see this coming, and so a huge congratulations to Dak Prescott. Like I said, it had been a decade since the Cowboys had a player win it. Dak is now the fourth player in Dallas Cowboys franchise history to be named the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year. Roger Staubach, the first, not a shocker. Troy Aikman, and of course Jason Witten, the last one to do it. I mentioned it had been a decade, 2012. Just if you care, I like this kind of stuff. I like jersey kind of quirks and things like this. Every active Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award winner in the NFL has a patch that they wear on their jersey. If you haven't seen by now, there's obviously a trophy that is associated with the award. It's Walter Payton. That the trophy is made in his likeness, and so the patch looks just like that. If you may have seen that the players who were nominated for the award do wear a decal on their helmets. So if you go look at Dak's helmet from the last few games of the regular season and obviously the playoffs, he does have the decal on there because he was the Dallas Cowboys nominee for the award. But he will have that patch moving forward. That doesn't move. You look at J.J. Watt, obviously, wanted after the 2017 season. He's just one example of many that have had that patch for several years now. But huge congratulations to Dak Prescott. Once again, congratulations to DeMarcus Ware and to Chuck Howley. A huge night for the Dallas Cowboys at NFL Honors. And so our lead up to Super Bowl 57 rolls on here at Blogging the Boys. We've had some fun guests stop by as I try to get myself together. Like I said, fighting this cold, trying to get to the end of the week myself. So far, we've had Trevor Lawrence. We have had, goodness gracious, we had DeMarcus Ware. We had a Pro Football Hall of Famer, one of the newest Pro Football Hall of Famers. On Thursday, we had Adam Vinatieri, who will one day be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame himself. We also had Trayvon Diggs, who advocated for Stephon Diggs to join the Dallas Cowboys. And on Friday, we have a few more people stopping by as well. So we're really looking forward to that. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe here, wherever you're listening or watching the Blogging the Boys podcast network or the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. My name is RJ Ochoa. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at RJ Ochoa, on TikTok at RJ.Ochoa. You can send me an email, rj.ochoa@sbnation.com. Or if you are on the YouTube side of things, you can leave a comment and we'll do our best to get there. I'm going to get another cup of tea in my Winslow mug. And yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Sorry, I was a little bit sick. Hopefully I sounded like Phoebe in that one episode of Friends. Congratulations to DeMarcus Ware, Chuck Howley, and Dak Prescott. Way to make the Dallas Cowboys proud. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll see you next time.